That's awesome. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us at our public meeting here for the Jackrabbit Trail Capital Improvements Program project improvements. These are from McDowell Road to Osborn Road. My name is Allison Camelucci. I am the project manager for the city of Buckeye, so I will be telling you a little bit about our lovely project today. For those of you joining us online, if you're having any technical issues, log on, log off, log back on, and then if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We've got people watching that, so when we get to the questions portion, if you have any, we are happy to address them then. And so our format tonight is going to be a quick presentation. I'll run you through a quick overview of what the project's going to look like, both once it's constructed and then what it's going to look like during construction. And then afterwards, we'll let you guys, we'll open up to questions. If you guys have anything specific you'd like to ask, we're happy to do that. So, as an overview, the Jackrabbit Trail project from McDowell to Osborn Road is part of the City of Buckeye's Capital Improvement Program. This project includes widening Jackrabbit Trail to 3 lanes in each direction. There are going to be new traffic signals installed both at the Thomas intersection and at the intersection of McDowell Road. We are installing ADA-compliant pedestrian ramps and crosswalks for the entire route, and then we will also be adding turn lanes at key intersections, as well as street lighting, new street lighting throughout the entire roadway. And I know a big question is there are a lot of other projects going on in this area. So we currently have McDowell Road from the Tut Hill Wash to Jackrabbit currently under construction. That construction will be finalized prior to any construction happening by the city on Jackrabbit. And then we also have the ADOT I-10 interchange improvements that will be happening around the same time as our construction, so we will be coordinating with ADOT on those. And then we have a subsequent project, which is going to do the Jackrabbit Trail widening from Thomas Road all the way north to the improvements at Jackrabbit Marketplace for Indian School. We also have, again, Indian School over to Perryville, as well as in other capital improvements projects. The construction on those is a little bit further out, but those will all be interconnected within this. So this is just kind of overview of what the improvements will look like, starting at the McDowell Road intersection, and then we are heading north as we head to the right. So we will have a full lighted intersection, signalized intersection at the intersection of McDowell Road and Jackrabbit Trail. And then we are, at this point, going down to the current levels of traffic through, as we approach the I-10 interchange. As that construction commences with ADOT, this will all be 3 lanes in each direction all the way through the interchange. But we are currently going to match what they have. There's enough asphalt and everything out there. No additional construction will be needed once ADOT's work is complete. And then from there, we are moving north. We do have some medians and some controlled turn lanes just for safety and access along our major roadways. And then heading further north, continuing 3 lanes in each direction. There are medians, turn lanes, all the lighting will be in our medians for the most part, so it'll be well lit. And then continuing further north to Thomas, we will have, again, a fully signalized intersection at that Thomas Road intersection, and then just north of that, tying back into the existing. So, sorry. We'll be tying back in north of Thomas up to the intersection of Osborn. There will be just tapering back to the existing cross-section, and that's what will remain until the construction of Jackrabbit Trail from Thomas to Indian School. So this is a rundown of our typical ultimate cross-sections. So we do have a variable median and 3 travel lanes in each direction and some detached sidewalk with a landscape buffer to keep everybody away from the road where we can. And then when we do have our turn lanes in either direction, they'll be full 12-foot lanes with that. And then same thing in our southbound direction. And the biggest thing is going to be project phasing and construction. I think that's a big concern for everybody on how they're going to be able to access all their properties. So for the general information, we are going to be completing the southbound traffic first. So that's going to be on your west side of the road. So we'll be completing that all the way up in our first phase of construction. And then this is showing all 3 lanes as under construction. There will be the single lane in the center will still be available, so you guys are still able to head south during this phase of construction. And we will keep all of, obviously, intersections accesses open as much as physically possible. If there do need to be intermittent closures, we will work with all of the landowners and people who access those areas and coordinate as much as we can to minimize the disruption. And then our second phase is going to be moving traffic to those 3 new lanes on the other side of the roadway and completing those northbound traffic lanes, accesses, turn lanes, and everything with that. And then from there, we will be pushing everybody to the outside on those fresh new lanes that we just constructed and installing all of those medians, all of the turn lanes from there. This is one where likely access across those entrances might have small disruptions just because we've got to install all that new asphalt in those intersections. So obviously we'll coordinate as much as we can in those areas to minimize those disruptions. And that is all the way north to Thomas for our third phase of construction. So as a general timeline, we are currently in our dry utility and I guess wet utility as well, relocation in fall of 25. We'll begin construction on this project early next year for the city construction, and then we are hoping to be done in the spring of 2027 with all 3 phases with everything fully functional for you guys. There are some potential in construction impacts, so we want to make sure that everybody's prepared for what they could be. We have intermittent lane closures, so that is looking like pushing traffic to the center when we're completing the construction of the additional lanes on the outside, and then switching that to the outside lanes when we're working on the inside of our construction. So lane closures, intermittent intersection closures, that's just to complete our signals at the intersections. Those will all be communicated well ahead of time. Possible detours, we're not anticipating needing to push traffic fully onto other roadways, but that is a possibility. We don't anticipate it. It's not currently our intention. Sidewalk closures are likely, especially with that outside construction. It's just not safe to have any pedestrians in those areas while we're completing that construction, but they will be signed appropriately. Restricted access to driveways as we're completing construction in front of those driveways. Obviously, we are going to need to close those for that. Anybody impacted by that, we will communicate that ahead of time. And then reduce speed limits. We obviously want to make sure that it is incredibly safe for our construction crews. So we are definitely going to be restricting the speed in those areas for safety, dust and noise that come with typical roadway construction. And then work hour variations if it's safer for us to do any installations or construction overnight. That's a possibility. If we need to do a full closure, we would try and work that around when it's most convenient if we're able. So trying to keep that quick and painless for you. Yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions.
Of course.
Jackrabbit and 10, are those going to stay stop signs?
So the question was, are Jackrabbit and I-10 intersections going to remain stop signs? I do not believe that is the intent. Those are ADOT plans, so the city of Buckeye is not completing them, but my understanding is that will be a signalized intersection.
Do you know what the time frame is? Because if they stay stop signs, traffic is going to back up all the way through the intersection in McDowell.
Completely understand. So we are coordinating our construction with ADOT's timeline. We actually do have a point of contact for ADOT. If you'd like to reach out to them for a more specific construction schedule, that's not something that we're specifically able to speak on, but we are coordinating with them with our construction with the understanding that installing the signal at McDowell is minimally helpful if it's going straight into a stop sign. So we understand that disruption and we're working to coordinate with them on that construction.
Okay, so my next question, you're doing this all the way to Osborn, correct?
The construction limits, the question was just for the people online because they're not able to hear you guys. The construction will extend from the McDowell Road intersection, full construction through Thomas, with additional striping adjustments through Osborn.
So why aren't you continuing it all the way up and doing this big monster project for that big space or span of roadway and then stopping at Thomas and not going all the way? It's not that much farther to go north on top of Thomas.
So the question was, why are we not continuing forward? And the answer is we are. I'm actually currently the project manager for the design all the way north to Indian School. So we are completing the design for that component and that section of roadway right now to connect those 2 portions. So those are in progress.
Could that start while this project is on, or is this project going to have to be completed before that starts?
This project will be completed, and then as design is completed on the other portions and we're able to fund all of that construction, then that construction will continue as soon as we're able to.
Last one.
Yes, sir.
The east side of Jackrabbit has always been county island.
Yes, sir.
And so I saw something where you're going to be taking some of the houses along the roadway. The house that burned down is under construction, and that's pretty close to Jackrabbit Road. So is the city going to take all of that property?
So the question was regarding land acquisition along Jackrabbit Trail. The land acquisition required on the east side of Jackrabbit, we do not have any parcels that are a full take. We are not, all of that land is being purchased through our standard land acquisition process, and that will continue north along Jackrabbit. If there are any modifications that need to be made, we are working with those particular landowners. Are you a landowner along that portion of Jackrabbit? Okay. Yeah, we're working with the landowners to ensure that the eventual city right-of-way is within it. So we're purchasing those, annexing those portions of right-of-way if they are county into the city of Buckeye public right-of-way. Of course, happy to help. Yes, sir?
So I'm understanding between McDowell and Thomas, that I guess that's going to be phase 2, correct?
Between McDowell to Thomas, so phase 1 is going to be the western half, adding the 2 additional lanes to the west half of between McDowell and Thomas. Phase 2 will be on the east half. Are you referencing the next phase of overall construction?
What I'm referencing is my business is on the corner of McDowell and Jackrabbit. And so
Yes, sir.
I need to know when my intersection is going to be affected, how much space am I losing, because I haven't even seen drawings yet. I don't even know how much of my frontage I'm losing, when my driveways aren't going to be accessible, things like that.
Understood, yeah. With that specific concern, I'm happy to address that. I think we'll address the overall comments, and then I'm happy to speak with you specifically afterwards as well. We can pull up the drawings more specifically. The gentleman has a business adjacent, so we want to clarify what that will look like. Of course, sir. Are there, yes, sir.
Going back to the traffic signal on McDowell and Jackrabbit Trail,
Yes.
is that Perryville and McDowell is a cluster. Three government entities and no one in charge. Is someone going to be in charge of that intersection? Or is this going to be built by committee?
Understood. So the question was regarding who is constructing the intersection of McDowell and Jackrabbit Trail?
And the traffic signal?
The entirety of that intersection, including the traffic signals, will be constructed by the city of Buckeye.
Like the city of Buckeye.
Yes, sir.
So Buckeye will dictate to ADOT sort of, okay, and to the county sort of, but they will be in charge.
That intersection is fully within the city of Buckeye and will be controlled and run completely by the city of Buckeye. Yes.
Staying on that intersection with a traffic signal.
Yes, sir.
McDowell is from Tuthill to McDowell. What is the sequence for having the traffic signal? Because the traffic is going to explode on McDowell. And are we going to continue to have a four-way stop? And how long is that four-way stop with the additional traffic coming from Corrado and Marketplace going to be in place before this is done?
Understood. We're still finalizing our construction sequencing. So I would love to give you a more concrete answer. And a lot of our analysis that we're completing right now as we finish up our construction plans and move into our construction plan, we have our construction team on board already. We're working between them and our traffic engineering team and our traffic control team to work with that additional traffic, especially with the connection to Verrado Marketplace. So we're hoping, especially with phasing the construction right after one right after another, we're hoping to minimize the disruptions. There's not a whole lot we were able to do on that.
On the same intersection,
Mhm.
is there any, since you guys own that intersection, is there any way to repair the potholes northbound on Jackrabbit Trail as soon as you leave the stop line at McDowell?
With this project, we will be repaving everything within the city of Buckeye limits.
Because those potholes have been repaired
Mhm.
several times, and within a week to 2 weeks, they're right back
Yeah, the question was regarding the potholes.
Can we have an acceptable roadway at that intersection?
We do have current crews currently, so the question was regarding existing potholes, so that's gonna be on our public works team for those repairs. I'm out there on the McDowell job site quite often, so I understand what you're seeing. And what I'll do is I'll talk to our public works team about getting something out there in advance of this construction, especially because this is starting in February. Understand it's a bit of a wait. Happy to get somebody out there ahead of time from public works to handle that. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I got another one that we just kind of mirror on this kind.
Of course.
What is the plan for completing McDowell to the marketplace all the way to Roadway?
We are in control on the city side. So from Tut Hill Wash to Verado Way is the developer controlled project. So as a member of the CIP, I'm not able to speak on the completion of that roadway. I can look to John Willett, our city traffic engineer, see if he has any additional answers on the timing of that roadway construction, but I'm only managing the CIP portion, so I can speak to that.
So John Willett, Acting Deputy Director of Transportation in the PMO office. So McDowell from Tut Hill west to Roadway is under construction. They're scheduled to be completed in early '26. I can't tell you the exact day, if it's January 2nd or February 9th, but that's the term we've been told, early 2026.
Thank you. Awesome. And then did we have any questions online? Awesome. If you guys are online and have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat for Annie to read out to us. And then we also have a couple things that we want to make sure that you guys are in the loop on. One is if you have additional questions, we have a QR code you're able to scan or question forms you're able to fill out. If you have anything additional you'd like us to contact you about, we're happy to do so and follow up on that. And then, of course, I went one too far. This is my contact information, my work phone and my email. So if you have any additional questions, please let us know. We also have a questions and comments form. Yes, sir.
Are the stoplights at Thomas, are they gonna go in after the construction's complete or before? So you're gonna stay at four-way stop until the construction's complete and then go to stoplights? Is that the plan?
Yeah, the question was regarding the signals at Thomas and the timing on those. So yes, Thomas is intended to remain a four-way stop through our construction. Once all of the construction is completed and all the lanes are active, it will become a signal, become fully signalized. We'll activate the signal. The installations will happen sequentially. So when we're working on the east half, the east side will go up. When we're working on the west half, the west side will go up. But it will be operational once the road is fully open. And then we also, something to note is the city has a transportation newsletter. We're using it for a couple of our CIP roadway projects. So for any changes to traffic control that are gonna affect people utilizing that roadway quite often, or any changes driveway access, progress reports on our project, major milestones, those will all be included in those transportation updates. So if you would like to sign up for the city's transportation newsletter, we'll be able to share that information with you guys as it comes up. It will be for multiple projects, so look for the ones that say Jackrabbit Trail in the subject. We'll be happy to help you. But you'll also get to know what else is going on for the city roadway project, so it's a good one. We got sir in the back, and then we'll come forward to you, sir.
You mentioned something about doing something to Perryville. Which road were you talking about?
The Perryville Road mentioned was we will be improving Indian School east to Perryville in our capital improvements projects. Up to the intersection is the city of Buckeye. Through the intersection is going to be Goodyear. Right? That's Goodyear? To the intersection of Perryville, yes. Not through the intersection. The intersection itself is not the city of Buckeyes, but the roadway up to it is. That is our last phase of construction in this area. So it will be a couple years before we see that construction. Definitely understand that. Yeah, we're it's definitely on the list. It's definitely in our capital improvements plan for the next 5 years. So, yeah, of course. And then, sir? Yeah, what you got?
This is a question and kind of a comment. So is the paving both on Jackrabbit and McDowell going to be inspected by a third party? The reason I ask that is because the paving of McDowell to Perryville West is not the best. That is, it's not a smooth ride. For that quarter mile, that's a poor paving.
You can go ahead.
You're talking the portion in front of the big warehouses,
From Perryville West
between the two big
And if
warehouses.
you want to repeat it.
Yeah, so the question was,
contractor supply, this is going to be contractor supply.
right, so the question that was asked was the paving on McDowell Road west of Perryville along the two warehouse projects was not ideal. Key question to go with that is who is doing the inspection with this project? This is a city CIP project. City CIP inspectors will make sure it's all done. Nothing is being done by a developer. So we're in charge of everything. Ideally, yes. Different contractor, inspectors, the whole thing. Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. So you want it more bumpy is what you want. That's what I'm hearing? You want it more bumps. All right, just checking. I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. It's your meeting.
Okay.
By the county or whoever is responsible, because all of this is kind of patchwork out here. From Perryville to Jackrabbit on McDowell, are they gonna widen that to 4 lanes?
Perryville is not.
Let me take that one.
Yeah, I was like, that one's gonna be on you because Perryville is not something I'm.
So a lot of the roads, and I'm sorry, the question was asked is the county going to improve McDowell Road from Jackrabbit to Perryville? Majority of the roads in Buckeye were counties. The city is slowly annexing the roads in. McDowell from Jackrabbit to Perryville will be slowly eventually annexed into Buckeye. And then we will make sure the road gets improved. So. Thomas is a little nuanced because there's some county islands out there with all the homes on the north side of Scott Libby School. Thomas may always stay in the county, and it may not. I just don't know that answer today. So, okay.
Awesome. Yes, sir.
No, you met your limit. You're done.
I have a positive.
Okay.
Since Buckeye's taking over coordination of traffic signals, much better. Okay?
You're welcome.
Much better.
Awesome. Did we have any questions come up online? Awesome. So, gentlemen, I'm happy to speak with you about your property that you have along Jackrabbit after this. And thank you guys so much for coming. If you have any questions, let me know. My contact information is up here, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.